There's going to be one less puddle of sweat on the floor mat of the congressional gym because Marjorie Taylor Greene, yet another Trump superfan, learns that loyalty to him goes only one way.
I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead.
I have to say, this woman is being attacked from all sides right now. Somehow, she still had time to put up her Christmas tree. Not even Thanksgiving. She says Congress is beholden to the super wealthy and ignores the needs of ordinary Americans. She says her party has no plan for health care and that the Jeffrey Epstein files are not a hoax, as the president claims they are. To which I say, welcome to reality, Marge. We're glad to have you here. Make yourself at home.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Are the Epstein files out yet? No? Okay. How about now? Are they, All right, just checking. You'll let me know. Stop me in mid-sentence if anything happens over there.
Hey, this is Max from UNFTR for the Midas Touch Network, and it seems that the Trump administration has punted, for the time being at least, on the much-anticipated Trump-supported GOP healthcare plan. So we have so much to get into, but apparently the upshot here is that you can't design a comprehensive healthcare plan for 350 million people on the back of a napkin. So Trump's only opinion on the matter seems to be that he wants Americans to be in control of spending their money instead of the health insurance companies in control of spending the money. So he's tasked the GOP with a plan to give Americans money so that they can spend it.
You know what's wild? When two of late-night television's biggest hosts decide they're done playing nice with an autocrat, and instead of competing for ratings, they team up to expose exactly what Trump's trying to do to American media. That's the story of Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel in 2025. And trust me when I tell you, what these two pulled off was nothing short of historic resistance broadcast live to millions of Americans.
On Friday, Donald Trump posted, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings." How dare you, sir? Would an untalented man be able to compose the following satirical witticism? Go f*** yourself.
He's gunning for our journalists, too. He's suing them. He's bullying them. Over the weekend, his foxy friend Pete Hegseth announced a new policy that requires journalists with Pentagon press credentials to sign a pledge promising not to report information that hasn't been explicitly authorized for release. That includes unclassified information. They want to pick and choose what the news is.
Donald Trump just had a meltdown on Air Force One. He gave an awful press conference where he threw Pete Hegseth under the bus. He said that he was unaware that Pete Hegseth ordered that there be an additional round of strikes on the fishing boat that was hit by the United States military when there were 2 survivors, to kill all survivors and show no quarter. Trump says, I don't know anything about it. And Trump said that he would not have supported killing the survivors aboard the fishing boat. Donald Trump was also asked about the MRI that he received back in October.
Let me take you back to July 2025, because that's when this whole thing really kicked off. CBS dropped a bombshell announcement that The Late Show with Stephen Colbert would be ending in May 2026. Now, the network claimed it was purely a financial decision. But here's the thing, nobody's buying that excuse. Because just days before this announcement, Colbert had gone on his show and called out his own parent company, Paramount, for paying Trump $16 million to settle a lawsuit over an edited Kamala Harris interview. Colbert didn't mince words.
Did you ever think the President of the United States would be celebrating your unemployment?
I mean, that son of a bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean, Mr. Yeah, see, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I mean, I never imagined I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs. As somebody who took pleasure in that, that to me is the absolute opposite of what a leader of this country is supposed to.
And he was asked again, what part of your body was the MRI done on? And Donald Trump said, I don't know, but it was perfect. It was like the perfect call that I was impeached on. I'll give you the MRI, but it was the perfect MRI. Of course, Donald Trump's not going to give anybody the MRI. Donald Trump was also asked about pardoning the drug trafficker Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, who worked with the Sinaloa cartel to push billions of dollars worth of drugs, including cocaine, into the United States. Juan Hernandez was convicted after a trial here in the United States and sentenced to 45 years in prison. Donald Trump said, why would I do anything to go after that guy? It was another Biden hoax. I was told it was a Biden hoax, and just because you're the president doesn't make you a drug dealer.
He called it a big fat bribe, straight up accusing Paramount of paying Trump off to secure approval for their $8 billion merger with Skydance Media. And guess what happened exactly 1 week after Colbert's show got canceled? The FCC approved that merger. Trump celebrated Colbert's cancellation immediately, posted on Truth Social saying, I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings.
Feel free to check out our science wing while you have a chance. But you know what? Congress's loss is Love Island's gain, and I wish her a lot of luck. Marjorie is out, and Mamdani is in. Trump, I don't know if you saw this, but Donald Trump hosted a highly unlikely Friendsgiving on Friday at the White House for the incoming mayor of New York, Zohran Mamdani. Most people were expecting fireworks, but they did not expect them to be the Katy Perry kind.
Just days ago, you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks?
I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay? It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't know.
I don't mind. Who are we kidding? I don't even know what despot means. Call me whatever you want.
Because yesterday, after months of Trump fighting tooth and cankle to hold back the Republican Party from doing the right thing, he just went ahead and gave up and signed the bill to release the Epstein files. Yeah. One day you're going to have a very complicated conversation with your grandchildren about why you just cheered.
Interest rates are down, and now we are starting to see the affordability. The prices get better. We had a very big October for home sales. Energy prices, gasoline is down. We saw, we believe healthcare is going to come down. We will see an announcement this coming week on that. And so across the board, prices are starting to come down. We're having Thanksgiving week. This will be the lowest cost for a Thanksgiving dinner in 4 years. Turkey prices are down 16%.
I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next. And this is where it gets good because Colbert wasn't about to go quietly. On July 22nd, he introduced something he called the eloquence cam, looked directly into the camera with this dead serious expression, and told Trump in the most articulate way possible to go fuck yourself. The audience absolutely erupted. They started chanting, "Stephen, Stephen, Stephen," because they knew exactly what was happening. This wasn't just a comedian getting fired. This was a test case for how far Trump could push American media companies to silence his critics.
Well, I have some bad news. Our government is now officially shut down because we don't have funding to pay the federal workers. Trump really is running the country like it's one of his businesses. He said he would.
Traditionally, the senior leadership of the U.S. military never claps for political speeches. That's the tradition. They're supposed to be nonpartisan and sit there stone-faced. It's like doing stand-up for Easter Island heads. So Trump didn't love the crowd.
I've never walked into a room so silent before. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room.
Roger that.
So let's just go through what just went down upon Air Force One, because it was really, and not a lot should shock you about this regime, but some of the stuff right here was just, really hard to believe unless you actually hear it for yourself. So here, Donald Trump was asked about if there was a second strike that killed wounded people, would that be legal? You'll see here how he throws Hegseth under the bus. Let's play it.
On the Venezuela boat strike, if there were a second strike that killed wounded people wounded in the first strike, are you thinking that would be legal?
Number one, I don't know that happened. And Pete said he did not want them. He didn't even know what people were talking about.
Jimmy Kimmel saw it too. Posted on Instagram, "Love you, Steven, fuck you, and all your Sheldon's CBS." Because both of these guys understood something crucial that Trump was banking on most people missing. This wasn't about ratings or money or network restructuring. This was about fear. Corporate fear of what Trump would do if they didn't bend the knee. If you're enjoying this deep dive into how late night hosts are literally the last line of defense against authoritarianism, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment about whether you think more celebrities should be speaking out like this. Your engagement helps us keep covering these stories.
Mr. President, I want you to know sometimes when I watch you striding across the White House lawn so confidently, with so much masculinity, I'll admit it, I get sexually aroused. Thank you for breathing life back into my once slumbering penis.
That was very well stated, listen.
So Trump told Republicans to all vote for this. He was clearly furious that they did. He signed the bill after the White House issued a so-called photo lid, which shut down any on-camera opportunities. He signed it off camera, and he'll sign anything on camera. Executive orders, sneakers, lady parts, wall parts, a toddler. Trump is avoiding cameras. That's like the Pillsbury Doughboy avoiding nudity.
The reporter asked Donald Trump to talk a little bit more about the strikes on the fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela and whether he supports Hegseth making that order or not. And he says, well, I don't know anything about it, but Hegseth told me he didn't do it. So, I believe what Hegseth said, that he had nothing to do with it. Here, play this clip.
Can you talk a little bit about the strikes and the controversy around Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth?
I don't know anything about it. He said he did not say that, and I believe him 100%.
So you don't know if there was a second strike to kill the two men after they were injured in the first strike?
He said he never said that.
Would you be okay with that if he did?
He said he didn't do it, so I don't have to make that decision.
Then Donald Trump is asked about pardoning Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, who worked with the Sinaloa cartel and other drug cartels to ship billions of dollars worth of drugs into the United States.
Fast forward to September 17th, 2025. Jimmy Kimmel's in his office at ABC, typing away, getting ready for his show that tapes at 4:30. It's 3 o'clock when he gets a phone call from ABC executives. He's got 5 people working in his office, so the only private place to take the call is the bathroom. Picture this: Jimmy Kimmel, pants down, sitting on a toilet, getting told by his own network that they're suspending his show indefinitely because they're concerned about what you're going to say tonight.
Well, I tell you, folks, I definitely did not call this one, but evidently The Late Show has outlasted the United States federal government. Because we're still open and they done shut down. But you know what? Maybe this is a good thing. The government hasn't been working that great lately.
Just to give you some perspective, the government being shut down is even worse than when it's up and running. Republicans would like you to believe that Democrats shut the government down, but the bill they wanted the Democrats to sign would knock out about 15 million Americans from health insurance. If this bill passes, your health insurance premiums could go up 75%, so there was no way the Democrats could vote for it. It's like like going to dinner and the waiter says, you must order lasagna. The chef made it today. And a bunch of you are going to get food poisoning from it. But if you don't eat it, you've ruined the meal.
Donald Trump says, look, just because you sell drugs in a country doesn't mean that you should hold the president responsible for it. Okay, and then the reporter says, well, what evidence do you have that this was a hoax? Like, there was a whole federal prosecution against Juan Orlando Hernandez and Juan Orlando Hernandez's brother, and there was overwhelming evidence, including Hernandez was on tape saying, get these drugs up the nose of the gringos and kill them. So where are you getting your info from, Donald? Here, play this clip.
Mister, you've made so clear how you want to keep drugs out of the U.S.
Right.
Can you explain more about why you would pardon a notorious drug trafficker?
Well, I don't know who you're talking about.
Juan Orlando Hernandez.
Well, I was asked by Honduras, many of the people of Honduras, they said it was a Biden setup. I don't mean Biden. Look, Biden didn't know he was alive.
The audience is already seated in his theater. There's a guest chef who's been making meatballs and polenta all day for a cooking segment. And ABC just pulled the plug because Trump's FCC chairman Brendan Carr had threatened to revoke their broadcast license if they didn't take action against Kimmel. What had Kimmel said that was so dangerous? He'd called out the MAGA gang for trying to distance themselves from Charlie Kirk's killer. That's it. He pointed out hypocrisy, which is literally what satirists have done since ancient Greece.
A man at the Cheesecake Factory ordering his shy young boyfriend dessert.
He really ran an incredible race, and I congratulated him. It's an amazing thing that he did. I think you're going to have, hopefully, a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am. I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help. We're going to help him. We're going to be helping him. I'll be cheering for him. A lot of my voters actually voted for him, and I'm okay with that.
What a turn of events! It was like he was giving a wedding toast to his new son-in-law. He's effusive. It's almost as if, and I know this sounds crazy, it's almost as if Trump doesn't have any real political convictions at all. He just says whatever, whenever. I mean, look at these two. They're smiling. He's grabbing his hand. He's touching him all over. He could not keep his hands off the Zoran. I mean, get a Lincoln bedroom, you two. He touched him more in that press conference than he's touched Melania all year.
Next, Donald Trump says that he's bringing drug prices down 500%, 600%, and 700% by enacting what he refers to as a most favored nations provision, where pharmaceutical companies are now providing their medication at the lowest price that pharmaceutical company charges in any other country in the world. So if they sold the medication for $1 in Canada, they're selling it for $1 in the United States. Now, Donald Trump promised pharmaceutical companies were going to do this back in May. Of course, we know that's a lie. Also,
but FCC Chair Carr praised ABC's suspension, saying, "It is important for broadcasters to push back on Disney programming that they determine falls short of community value." Translation: do what Trump wants or lose your license. This is where Stephen Colbert became an absolute legend. The very next night, September 18th, Colbert opened his show with 5 words that gave me chills. "Tonight, we are all Jimmy Kimmel."
Here in New York, to punish you for disliking him, Trump is putting $18 billion worth of New York City infrastructure projects, like the new rail tunnels under the Hudson and the 2nd Avenue subway project, on hold to make sure the money isn't being used to support DEI. Apparently, they think trans stands for transportation over there, and they want to stop it. This is clearly an abuse of power.
It has been a tradition here at The Late Show since yesterday that the major party candidates sit down with me for an interview in October. We invited Kamala Harris to be our guest this evening, and she accepted. That interview in a moment. In the interest of fairness, we also invited former President Donald Trump to go himself. He declined our offer.
You can't decrease something 500 to 600 or 700%. Yet another lie, but here, play this clip right here.
You know, one of the reasons that healthcare can work is because of what I just did with vaccinations. You're going to have drug prices coming down 500, 600, 700% because of me. In other words, we're going to have the lowest drug prices, tied for the lowest drug prices anywhere in the world. It's called favored nations. And you don't talk about it. It's probably the biggest thing to happen in medicine in the last 100 years. And it can have a huge impact, positive impact on pricing for healthcare.
Though they definitely exposed all of that, what they really exposed was the playbook. How Trump uses the FCC to threaten licenses, how he leverages merger approvals to control content, how he celebrates when Americans lose their jobs, and how corporate media caves to that pressure. But they also showed us something else, that resistance works, that solidarity matters.
To unplug and reboot Sean Hannity 5 times after this meeting. This is the reaction at Fox Business Channel.
Wow. Just one word, wow.
Hey, is that a good wow or a bad wow? Or a sham wow? Nobody knows. After weeks of painting Mamdani as the fourth horseman of the Trumpocalypse, they didn't know what to do with themselves. This is how upside down this crop of MAGAteers is. They're mad at Trump. Some of them are furious at Trump because he was friendly with the new mayor of New York. Last week, he had a big celebratory dinner for the Saudi prince whose goons dismembered a columnist for the Washington Post. No problem. This, too much. I got news for you guys. Anybody who was surprised that Trump got along with Mamdani should not be surprised.
Donald Trump is asked, how long does your administration plan to pause asylum on any country that you claim to be third world countries, whatever that's supposed to mean? Or as Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona says, he's just referring to brown people who are from countries where there are brown people. And then Donald Trump says, whatever, as long as I want. And then a reporter says, well, what do you mean by those people? He's like, places like Somalia.
That when you refuse to give an inch to an autocrat, when you team up instead of competing, when you use your platform to tell the truth, even when it costs you everything, you can actually win. These two didn't just roast Trump on live TV, they exposed the entire system he's built to silence dissent, and they did it while making millions of Americans laugh. That's not just good television, that's patriotism.